real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the QB Show, always helping you win in any marketplace, making you more street smart, making you more informed as a consumer, and your number one consumer advocate right here in Tampa Bay, Jason Kobal, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Kobal Law, we're going to talk about bad faith when insurance companies don't pay up, especially when it's dealing with personal injury law, accidents. What can you do? What are your rights? Jason Kobal is going to let us know about that. Attorney Jason Kobal. Also, Captain Will Smith Aviation, and Michael Johnson coming up later in the program as well. Yachting and boating expert contributor on the show. So jets and boats and yachts and all that good stuff coming up on the second half of the show here on the Consumer QB Show. Before we get into the conversation with attorney Jason Kobal, I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings here. We got a unit for sale in a condo at 100 Bluffview Drive. We got two units actually in the same building. Unit number 409C is a one-bedroom, two-bath, 1,050 square foot property condo, and you have stunning views of the waterfront there. Waterfront views, open floor plan, kitchen with a sleek white cabinetry, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, bar stool seating space, and tile backsplash. You also have hurricane shutters, plantation shutters. Now, you have amenities in this building are awesome. Heated pool, shuffleboard, barbecue grill, and picnic tables. 100 Bluffview Drive, unit number 409C, Bel Air Bluffs, Florida. And we also have unit number 606C as another unit in the same building. So we got two units, same building, 100 Bluffview Drive, unit 606C in Bel Air Bluffs. This one's two bedroom, two bath. You have additional bonus room, 1,440 square feet. Kitchen with pristine white cabinets, appliances. You have space for bar stool seating, open floor plan, large windows. Primary room has a king size furnishings, and you also have a walk-in closet. In-unit laundry, which is huge, washer dryer in the unit for condos. Views of the intercoastal waterways. You can see the dolphin-filled waters there, sunset views, and again, great amenities: heated pool, shuffleboard, barbecue grill, and picnic tables. You can see all of our real estate listings. PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
Quick shout out to our restaurant partner. If you haven't been by Brio Tuscan Grill, you got to check them out. They're over at the International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful staff, just absolutely delicious salmon fresca, most popular item. I just had that yesterday and it was excellent, very good. Brio actually means lively or joyful, so the staff is very nice, friendly, joyful staff. Food is excellent, all from scratch, popular Italian foods, all the favorites there. Monday through Friday happy hour. Check them out. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Brio Tuscan Grill, the official Tampa restaurant partner for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Chef Oscar Ramirez and Joseph. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you for a free appetizer. All right, we're going to Jason Kobal, attorney Jason Kobal. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Brandon. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. And tell me about bad faith. This is when insurance companies don't pay up.
Yeah, this is a big deal in car accident cases because when bad faith occurs, there's no limit, and you want to catch the insurance companies when you can doing that. It could really make a case tremendously valuable. But I'll tell you real quick about it is when I have a case that I have evidence that the value of the case is greater than the policy limit. So let's say, for example, the policy is $1 million, and I know my client's injuries, future medical care needs, and past medical bills are such that the case is worth well over $1 million. I do a demand for the $1 million. They changed the law. It used to be 30 days was enough, but now you got to give them 90 days if you want to try to get bad faith. But I give them 90 days to tender. If they don't tender, and I give them sufficient evidence that they should have, and the case is worth more than that, then that opens the door to possibly getting bad faith. And how that works is if we go all the way to a jury trial and we get a verdict above the policy limit, so above the $1 million, then we can have no limit if we prove in a second trial in front of the judge, which is the bad faith trial, that when we gave them the demand, we gave them sufficient evidence. They should have known that the case was worth more than $1 million, and they did not tender. And if we're able to prove that, then that's bad faith. So insurance companies, as long as they do what they're supposed to do and pay the limits when a case is clearly worth that much, they have nothing to worry about. But when they lowball you, that's how you nail them for bad faith, and that's how you make big bucks where there's no limit.
Wow. Yeah, and it's a shame that you even have to go there, isn't it? I mean, when these insurance companies, they take in premiums every year, and a lot of times they just look to try to minimize the amount that they're paying out.
Yep. It's amazing how often I see it, but it's good to have a lawyer that knows it inside and out, because there's a big difference in a case. If they're defending a case where they know bad faith is not a possibility, then, say in that example I gave you, they know no matter what the jury says, and the jury doesn't hear policy limits, they'll never have to spend more than $1 million, because that was the policy limit, and if they eliminated a bad faith chance. But if the attorney's wise and he sets up bad faith just in case they don't tender what they should, that's all the difference in the world. So you definitely make sure you have an attorney that understands bad faith if you have a car accident.
Yeah, exactly. And there's definitely different levels of representation. We're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And Jason, you had mentioned also on some of the different lawsuits, it seems like some of the bigger firms that are a little bit more run kind of, they're just run with a little less personal attention, it seems.
Yep.
You had a particular example where there was one of these cases that they tried to get the guy to settle for much less, I think like $70,000 or something like that. You ended up taking on the case, and then they ended up getting a settlement for over $1 million or something like that.
It was exactly $1 million, and it was just 11 months after the prior attorney that was representing my client told him to settle for $75,000. He got upset, fired that attorney, hired me, and in just 11 months we settled that same case for $1 million. So yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. These big firms, and they set it up that way on purpose. They'll have each attorney in the big firms, they won't even be talking to their clients. You'll be talking to paralegals and assistants, because the high ups, they don't want the attorneys to be able to get good relationships with these people and start their own practices. But unfortunately, as the client, when it's a huge firm and you're not even talking to your attorney, a lot of them are like mills, and they'll just settle for whatever they can get as quickly as possible and move on to the next one, because there's always going to be a next one. Whereas, we take pride in providing customer service that's so good that they come back for repeat business. And we've been doing it for so long that it accumulates over the years, and now we don't even have to advertise. We get our cases from past clients that were happy and word of mouth. So that's the difference between a small firm and a big firm.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I wanted to let you know too, I just saw the movie Police State, the Police State movie, and wow, just what a great job that Dinesh D'Souza and Dan Bongino did. They teamed up on this movie, and I'm going to put it on the screen here for us. This was one that really, I just took a screenshot of it, and I wanted to put this on the program. So if you're watching our TV show version on YouTube, Rumble, etc., maybe social media, that's called The Pyramid of Far-Right Radicalization. So radicalization sounds a lot like terrorist, right? I mean, it makes you think, wow, radical, what's going on here? This sounds interesting. How are they radical? But it has a pyramid, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom. So at the bottom you have like Fox News. There's a picture of an American flag with some organization. CBN is Christian Broadcasting Network, where you have preachers just preaching the gospel. You have the Republican Party there, and then the second tier is PragerU. So you have Dennis Prager, Salem's own PragerU, being identified on the pyramid of far-right radicalization based on the model something or other. I can't really read what it says there, but PragerU, Breitbart, Christian Broadcasting Network, these are identified. Oh, there's a Trump hat. It looks like "Make America Great Again" hat. That's what this police state is doing. That's what this Biden regime is doing, this deep state. They're trying to mischaracterize people that love the country. PragerU has short videos that have done over 1 billion views, just short videos explaining the real story of the founding of the country, or these different types of educational videos. But it's unbelievable, and if you haven't seen this movie, Police State, you've got to see it. Dinesh D'Souza, he goes through a lot of the different pieces in that movie, stories that we've heard, like the Douglas Mackey, where he put out the meme, Douglas Mackey with the meme, or the pro-life pastor that got his house raided early in the morning. I mean, it goes through a lot of those different scenarios that played out, those different basically atrocities that played out using force. They come into the homes. But have you seen that? You haven't seen that yet, but I think you're going to, you said.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's amazing, and I liked his prior movie about the mail-in voting scam that was going on.
2,000 rules, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Roger Snow, the way he was arrested, the way they treat the conservatives is just night and day. There's obviously a two-tier system, and then of course the blatant example with Trump. I mean, just ridiculous that we're going after one of our candidates like that. Is unheard of and never happened before. And I think it's ironic if you watch the mainstream media outlets of late, they're all pushing this. They say, oh, President Trump, if he wins, he's going to use the DOJ to try to go after his political opponents. Like, what is going on right now with the administration? I mean, it's just unbelievable. I don't know if they think people are that dumb or if this is just some kind of brainwashing strategy, but it is crazy how hypocritical they are.
Yeah, and and just look at the names, some of the other names. I just jotted them down. You mentioned Roger Stone. General Michael Flynn served our great country. Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor. Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon, and the list goes on and on. These are all people that got arrested, cuffed, perp walked. They talk about the process being the punishment, and these are great Americans that, and as far as I know, didn't do anything wrong, but they got baited.
And Roger Stone, they even had CNN waiting at his house before he even was knowing that he was getting arrested. The CNN was waiting with their cameras ready. So I don't know, someone obviously leaked it to them. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah, that's a key element of their overall plan and their collusion with these big tech companies, the media companies, the multinational corporations. It's a deep state, man. It really is, Jason. Do you still have? Are you still working on defamation cases too?
Well, I had an interesting experience. I'm so grateful that I was involved in all those cases. But what had happened was I was the lead local attorney for an attorney who was out of D.C., wasn't licensed in Florida. But unfortunately, I got him approved in all those cases. We were handling them together. He actually had a stroke. It was terrible. So now I actually handed those cases over, and I'm working with attorney Jesse Banal, who you'll see a lot. He's often a guest on Newsmax, and he's a great attorney, and he's representing President Trump in a lot of matters right now, civilly, and especially the recent decision by our Supreme Court. They're saying that he could be sued for the January 6th civilly. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more civil cases against President Trump, unfortunately, and attorney Jesse Banal will be handling them, I'm sure. But yeah, he's a great attorney. So that's who's taken over as the main attorney, but I'm still helping him out as local counsel. But yeah, I'm very honored to be involved in those cases. Wow.
Yeah, that is such a, and the whole J6 thing, that was a part of the film too. The Police State movie is they had several images and videos of this Ray Epps character that just seemed to be there. He seemed to be an antagonist. We're gonna go in the Capitol. We're gonna go in, and then you had all the people around him saying Fed, and they ended up doing this puff piece on him in one of the fake news media publications. So that there's nothing above this deep state. They'll lie about whatever they have to lie, and hey, whatever. I'm opening myself up just by talking about this on radio, and of course this syndicates on YouTube and Rumble. So it's scary. It's scary because as a concerned citizen, for my children and the future of this country, I think the least that we can do is talk about this and bring the information out, Jason.
Absolutely. I've never dreamt I would see our First Amendment under attack like the way it is right now, but I commend you, Brandon, that you have the guts, and we need more people to be brave enough to stand up and tell the truth and call the media out when they're pulling their nonsense, because these times are critical, and these are scary times that I never thought I'd see, but they're here.
They're here. That's right. We got to deal with the cards given to us. Taking a quick break. We're going to come back more with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com, at Brandon Rhymes 1, at CQB Show. Support the show. Support the good folks out there that are, fighting the good fight, being that consumer advocate for you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. That's something very simple that you can do that really helps us out as well. It helps the algorithm. Brandon Rhymes Realty on YouTube, at CQB Show as well. And we'll be right back. More with attorney Jason Kobal, Kobal Law, on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550. 813-750-0550 or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite. Sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, 13906 Bardmore Place, Unit B. This is a townhome that we have listed in Carrollwood, Florida, Carrollwood and Tampa Bay. Great opportunity, 13906 Bardmore Place. Lighter color updates on the property. It's been completely renovated. Beautiful property here in Tampa Bay, and backsplash. It looks beautiful. It's a nice layout here. 5-person jacuzzi tub. You have a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, almost 2,100 square feet of living space. 13906 Bardmore Place, Unit B, Tampa, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
We're a team, me and God.
All right, we got attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Jason, just wanted to kind of recap with you, talk a little bit about your business, personal injury law. You say kind of, it's in a sense, anyone that's injured, could be injured employees, injured in a car accident, slip and falls, injury type work. Is that right?
You're correct, Brendan. You know, it's funny. Over the years, it started out as just workers' comp, but it morphed into all injuries, because that's, you know, when you're handling a case for somebody who's injured and they have permanent injuries and they want to apply for disability, then after a while I'm like, boy, I better figure that out. And now I've got 15 years of that under my belt, and same with workers' comp and car accidents, slip and falls, any type of injury. And then I even, as those cases progressed over the years, I noticed a lot of unethical and illegal billing activity from the medical providers, and then that got me into my fair debt practice, which I'm proud of, which I've been into the last 10 years. So, and there's a lot of it. So if you go get any treatment, whether it's related to a case or just going to the hospital, look at your bills very closely. You see a lot of nonsense on there. If you feel like you've been billed for something that wasn't performed or is wrong, you let me know, and you might be entitled to money for your rights being violated. They're not allowed to bill you for things they didn't do.
Yeah, and I think that's an area of the law that people just don't understand, they don't know, and they start getting these bills. Sometimes they'll pay them, other times they may go to collections, and it's unfortunate because that's a whole other issue when you start thinking about health care and the way that the hospital systems just seem to be so out of touch. I got a clip I want to play here. DeSantis was on a recent on the stage again in another debate. I want to talk about he's talking about Europe and this immigration problem.
Look what's happened in Europe. You have more anti-Semitism in Germany than at any time since Adolf Hitler. Why? Because they imported mass numbers of people who reject their culture. Europe is committing suicide with the mass migration, and it's illegal and legal Nikki Haley said the other day there should be no limits on legal immigration, and that corporate CEOs should set the policy on that. There needs to be limits on immigration. We should not be importing people from cultures that are hostile.
Yeah, we should not be importing people, just like our open southern border. And in that great movie, Police State, again, he talked a little bit more about the open southern border, and you just see the lines and lines of people coming through. And what's the saddest part is there's a lot of these kids that are coming through that are not accompanied, or they're pretending to be with someone that they're actually not. And then this crooked Biden administration is allowing these kids into the country, and they're basically being turned over to some type of a housing situation. And then Dinesh did a great job with the research on that. So I urge you, again, go to salemnow.com, watch the movie, and let your friends know about it. Share it on social. Let everybody know about it. But again, Jason, here we are, open southern border, thousands of people a day, millions of people cumulatively in our country. It's such a threat.
Yeah, and it was that, and it's been terrible, and just in and of itself, it's dangerous. But then, when this happened to our number one ally, Israel, on October 7th, a disgusting attack, and then they openly said they're going to come to the United States through our southwestern border and do attacks here. When they openly say that, and yet we still have the border wide open, that's almost honestly like malpractice for our country. It's just unbelievable and very disturbing. So obviously we need to, hopefully President Trump will prevail, and he's promised on day one that he's going to change the situation, that he's going to close it down. And I believe that needs to be done at this point until we get it straightened out. There's nothing wrong with immigration. We need immigrants. We're a country based on immigrants. That's what we're founded on, but we need to do it the right way. This day and age, after 9/11, we have to have everybody vetted, and we want good people coming here. We don't want to be in the blind as to who's coming to our country.
Right. Yeah, the people come in, and they've also, I've heard it from friends of friends too that are kind of connected to some of these Central American countries in one way or another. It's open. It's known that they're releasing criminals. They're emptying their jails, their mental asylums. These people are coming across the border. And you know what's interesting too is when a Democrat in Washington D.C. gets carjacked, and then it hits them, and then they still don't do anything about it. Or the same thing happened in Chicago. Another politician carjacked, or I forgot if they got robbed or carjacked, but it's happened multiple times. So you see the effects happening, Jason, and then it's still inaction and then just lies. David Webb's show was playing a montage of them lying over and over. Mayorkas, all of them saying, "Oh, the border is closed. We have a closed border, and we're attending to the border, and it's a safe border." They're just flat out lying to the American people, Jason. Got about 40 seconds left.
I tell you what, last night, Vivek Ramaswamy did one of the coolest things I ever saw in a debate. He asked Chris Christie and Nikki Haley to name the provinces that Russia has taken over since the war, and they couldn't do it. So they're asking for billions of dollars. They don't even know that, and I thought that was a very cool thing he did.
He does a great job on his debates and bringing out the props and saying the right thing, and he's the only one too that it questioned. He says, "I'm the only one up here that thinks January 6th was an inside job. I'm the only one up here that will say that, openly say that." Jason Kobal Law, how do you want people to connect?
Well, call the show or TampaWorkCompLaw.com.
TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Attorney Jason Kobal, longtime friend of the program, fighting the good fight out there for folks with personal injury suits. Thanks so much, Jason.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, coming back with Michael Johnson, Dennison Yachting, Captain Will Smith Aviation here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at BrandonRhymes1 on Instagram, Twitter, at Consumer QB Show, at CQB Show on Instagram, and of course on YouTube and Rumble. You can find the show there as well. We're right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify.